Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US tech stocks. We'll be looking at the SPX and the NASDAQ. We're still in a bullish trend to the upside. Of course, coming into these old highs over here is going to create resistance. We're looking for 5 waves from this low down here up to the first high up here. And that will be wave 1 of intermediate degree and wave 2 here, and then we're going to have 3, 4 and 5 here. Now you can chasing 5 waves up through to here. We may see a new high or we may not. There's some tech stocks like Netflix that have taken out this particular top here. Other markets are a bit softer, they're down here. There's a whole range of stocks between the low and the high, taken out the high here in this case. Now I do believe that this is just wave 1 to the upside here. It has been pointed out to me that we could look at this low here as a wave 4, and I did go through that in the early days, but I just don't think that's the case when we look at the bigger picture, because we either look at all of this as a series of 1s and 2s and 1s and 2s and 1s and 2s to the upside. Now, I know that people, get very emotional about these sorts of things because you're either looking for a top or you're looking for new highs in the market. And if you're looking for tops, well, then everything is going to be a top. So that's kind of, it's good to be detached from both of those if possible. It's simple but tricky. So one of the things that I wanted to look at here, looking at this as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, and then 5 waves up here for 1 and 2, is a little bit hard to take on board if you've been looking at the market as tops. So I noticed with the banks, well, the Visa and MasterCard and Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan's are very much like the S&P here. They've moved up quite high, they've moved back, and they're moving on. But some of the other banks like Citi's and Bank of America and the ETF, KBE, those sort of things, they're more like this picture that I'm going to show you now with BAC, which I put a chart of this into the chat room over the weekend because I thought it was just interesting. It was just one way of sort of viewing this here, because in a lot of the other markets, this move up here had taken this top out here. So this move in a lot of, we're looking at a bank, so we'll go Goldman Sachs and Morgans and so on. They've taken the top out, so they're sort of way up here. So when you look at this one here, it kind of makes a little bit more sense to have. Here is a special opportunity to join Trading Lounge for a 2-week trial for $1. And once that is completed, if you would like to stay with us, we're giving you a $29 a month, which is a 58% discount. Okay, so we're just going to leave that there for a little while, and you've got access to 7 analysts and a chat lounge. Let's have a quick look. This is your dashboard. You can set these shortcuts up through here, and next over here for stock checks and trade recommendations. Here we've got these portfolios. We've got these portfolios for stocks, crypto, forex and commodities, and through these trade recommendations here that gets populated through here. We've also got trade recommendations that populate through the charting program, which we'll have a look at in a moment. You've got a chat lounge here that you can talk to all the 7 analysts and to other folks as well. So this is really important because we upload a lot of information here, and basically the charts that come from the analyst section also populate through here, and these like this chart here gets uploaded through this area. And as I just mentioned, here we cover forex, cryptos, commodities. We cover hundreds of markets. Right, so with 7 analysts, and you got access to all of those people and everything that we do. Also the trade recommendations from here. This is our charting program. It's designed for people that would like to learn Elliott Wave because it helps you with the rules for Elliott Wave. It's also got an algorithm here. This is also another little algo here. We've also got, this helps you with the wave information. This is the Elliott Wave AI functionality. Yeah, all the indicators. This is, this whole thing has been designed for Elliott Wave. And through here too, we can put on trades through here as well. These are trade recommendations, and you go to certain analysts to find out what they're trading through here. You can also through here as well select whichever analyst that you would like to look at as well. If you want to have a look at the wave counts for what Shane's doing, or Kitty upon, or so on and so on, then you can look at their counts because they're working on this charting program. You can have a look at their counts at this point. So this is it's a bit special, this particular charting program here, and you'll also have access to this as well. So like I said, it's $1 to come and check us out, so it's not a big deal. We're pretty friendly, and this $29 here is a 58% discount, so you won't see this again for a while. So this is a good opportunity, and this will, once you allow this to roll over here, then you can continue with this. If you jump off of this, then that will be the end of it. Alrighty, thanks. Yeah, that's that. So we're moving up here to wave 1. So I'm just going to we'll just go to a 2-hour chart and look at that. So we're moving to the upside here, and like I say, some tech stocks, or like Netflix, have taken out the top here, and we're looking at this as wave 1 up here. And if we bring in intermediate degree here, I don't know why that hasn't come on there. It's a bit weird. Oh, it's a bit weird. What have I done wrong here? Oh, I see. Sorry. I've got this here. Yeah, intermediate degree here. So we're looking for wave 1 to come up here. How far it comes up? I think we might come up reasonably high here. We'll see how we go. We're looking for 5 waves to the upside, so I'll just bring it into 30 minutes here and start to fill in the dots here. So we're looking at wave 1 and 2 here, and we're going up for 3 and 4 and 5 over here. How far we go up here, we'll see. We'll make adjustments as we go, so don't take any of these tops or bottoms or anything as final. And then from wave 2 here to wave 3 here, we're looking for 5 waves up. So we're going to look at this as 1 and 2 here, and I'm going to look at this as 3 and 4. I thought we might have 3 over here for this, but yeah, just I just feel that we need to go up here further. I mean, just going back to the banks for an example here, just to show you on looking at the details of this market here, because it's just a little bit cleaner. This is BAC again here, and looking at this to the upside here, we've got a clear 1, 2 here, and then 1 and 2, and then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and then I can take 5. When you're playing around with large numbers with any zeros on it, things get a bit squishy and squashy, so you need to be a little bit sort of realistic. But whichever way you go, you still end up with wave 2 here. The only other way that this could be countered here, which would be fair enough as well, is to take wave 1 here and put it over here and have this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, you've got overlap on 4 here, and wave 2 would come over here. But even if that was the case, this wave 3 that we're looking at up here, we've still got like wave 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 in here. Do you know what I mean? There's still a lot more to go in here. So whichever way you want to count this first, I'm doing it this way because that's how I've counted most of the markets, and there's a little 5 waves in here for 1 and 2, and nice. This will be the third of 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 the third here. So nice little gap in the market. So this is a perfect trend. But what it's telling me is that I still need to go 3, 4, 5 for the third, the fourth, and fifth. Now I could change this here a little bit, and I could sort of move this as I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could put this over to here and this to here, and this to here, and this, but this is about as much as I could shrink it up at this point. But even so, even if I sort of shrunk it that much, I'm still looking at this wave 3 up here. This will be the same for Visa, MasterCard, Goldman's and all those sort of, within reason, you know, they will be a bit more stretched to the upside. But just wanted to, you know, just say that, you know, that this particular trend that we're in here, and this is the same with, you know, anything that's had the 12th or the 10th, the 9th or whatever it was down here for the low, and has got this type of pattern here and it's got this type of trend, you can pretty much fit them all into the same thing, even if they're a little bit skewed. But my point here is that we still have further to go to the upside. And yes, maybe I've got some of it wrong in here, like I just said, there's different ways to count things. So if you've got something different, then it doesn't mean that you're wrong and I'm right, or vice versa. It's just things become clear in hindsight as we go along, you know, and we do our best to shuffle through. But like I said, the main point of all of this is that there's still further to go to the upside. So I'm thinking most of the stocks are in this wave 3. There's possibly this wave 3 for some of them as well. But either way, all the markets need to go up further. So yeah, just saying. And just going back to where we were over here and going back to the S&P here. So with the S&P, I've got wave 3 here with a wave 4 here. Now the other thing with this too, this is the cash market here. The futures markets and a lot of the aftermarket in tech stocks have dropped here already, but this chart doesn't show, the cash market's not showing this, you know, this move, but we expect something like this and then a push up at that point, okay? So just in this one here, we're looking for, we've got 1 and 2 here already, we're looking for 1 and 2 here, and going up for 3 and 4 here, and going up for this wave 3, 4 and 5 up here. So still, you know, we're still climbing. For the S&P, we've got to get across, you know, the 6,000 is going to be resistance, and then we end up with the first high above the level at some point. You know, this is, if this is the 6,000 across here, the level, this is the sort of pattern that we're going to get across here. It's got to migrate from being resistance to support. There's a couple of, you know, variations that it can do, and there is also another one, but highly likely, because we're going into waves 4s and 5s, it's going to be this, or and more likely this here at the 6,000. So be careful about holding longs at this particular point. Coming into big numbers is where you'd normally get out. Of course, you can hold through it. But yeah, expect larger corrections at that level. And then we come into the NASDAQ here, and this is the cash market as well, so I won't go into a big deal here, but basically the futures market has dropped, so we'll see this drop here for wave 4, and then up for this one's got a little bit more to go. This is a bit more like the banks here, and then we'll see an ABC. So I'm still putting Humpty Dumpty together, but basically, you know, we're sort of on the right track, and as I said before, we'll be edging higher, but what you see here is not what you get next. You always kind of get the opposite of what you're looking at next. So yeah, these will be, all these are 1s and 2s, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and 1 and 2 here, and now we're going into 4s and 5s, 4s and 5s. So this is where it's going to get messy. So it will edge higher, but it's not going to be that quick, you know. So, and we'll keep it. Don't worry about where I put wave 2 and these tops and those things. You know, I'm just sort of mud mapping it out, you know. So yeah, you could buy the dip, you know, at 21 here on the futures market if you like, but we'll talk about that when we get to that video shortly. Let's have a look at the stocks now. Okay, so Apple's one of those stocks that, you know, hasn't really lifted off it from back up here. The top here is still really quite low here. So it's hard to sort of consider it bullish, but as you know, markets catch up. They can lag for a while, then they catch up. They just need a breath of fresh air, some good news, so to speak. Here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. Yes, I know there's overlap, but still the best count. So we've got 1 and 2 here. And I'm going to look at this as 1 and 2 here as well. Now, in the aftermarket, Apple would have dropped here. There was quite a few stocks that dropped. But in this case, we're looking for a wave 2. So down to, say, 205 to, somewhere in that space there. But yeah, it's just a dip, and once we're down here, then we'll start to look at, because we'll start to look at moves to the upside. So we'll look at long positions in this space, but not just yet. I don't think we've got trades on that at the moment. No. Okay, so yeah, so that's that. So a trading opportunity coming after we buy the dip. We'll get support back on the 210. That should do the trick at that point. Let's move along. This is Amazon, and it's a little bit like Apple as well. It's still very quite low, so we're on a 30-minute chart, but still quite low from the previous high up here. So it's a little bit better than Apple. And the thing I like about this is that it's above the level here, the major level 200, and now it's coming back to retest that. So we can, I don't know if we'll look for a trade in this or not, because we've got like 3, 4, 5 up here for 1, and then we come back for 2 again. So I'll just keep considering this here. But as far as the crow flies, we've got, I could label this a little bit differently, but 1, 2, 3, 4 here. I don't know I think the aftermarket may have come down here a little bit. We still need to come down. So the 198 to the 200 will be a good support at that particular point in time. And yeah, so we've just got another little drop here to make. And I could call it a 1 and 2 as well, but it would sort of just, we'll just put it out of a bit of timing, so we're better off like this. And yeah, this is all that, this is the natural way markets work higher through price points, where it's dropped down below the level here, and now it's trying to make support over here for this. That's all. So it's doing all the right things, even though it's going to be bearish in that case. And over to Nvidia, which is more bullish than the other two that we just looked at. We've got a beautiful trend here. At the same time though, we've got wave 1 here. This wave 1 is not higher than this one, but in the aftermarket it was. So 1 and 2 here, and going up to wave 3, 4, 5 up through here. And we've got 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4, so a bit of a pullback here. And I think they've got some sort of, not this reporting on the 28th. I think they've got something else, but I'll need to confirm that date too, by the way. But I did get an email from Nvidia about some conference or something or other. So wave 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and going up to wave 5 here. So we can expect a bit of a drop here, and I think it dropped in the aftermarket as well. So there'll be good support at the 130. So when you're talking about a particular number, you always look for group 1 and group 2 around that number. So group 1 would be 1, 2 and 3 here. Group 2 would be 128 down to the low would be 126.50. The lower end of group 2. So expect a correction here from this particular trend, and then we'll be heading up for 3, 4 and 5. So eventually we'll be up at the 150, and this is somewhere up here. I don't know if it's going to be up here or down here or whatever, but it'll be that 1 and 2 at that point. And how far this pulls back, I won't know. We'll just have to work through it. It'll be a 5, 3, 5 structure, a zigzag, and they can pull back 61.8%. They can pull back 38 point 2%, 40%, 50%, 60%. So just something we'll have to work through, and it'll just be the sentiment at the time in the markets of politically as well, and so on. But yeah, look, this trend's fine. It's just going to have a little correction. You could buy the dip on this as well. And Meta platforms on 30 minutes, 1 and 2. Aftermarket was below here, so if that's if you've noticed that. Looking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. I could also bring this wave 3 over to here as well, and I could extend this up further. It doesn't really matter. As I mentioned before we got to this medium level here, that it's just natural to have a correction at wherever you see 65. Expect a correction. That's what we're getting. So yeah, you could also buy the dip here as well. I could extend this trend high without any problems, but I'll just leave it the way it is for the time being. I'd rather be a little bit, I always take the conservative side of the trend unless something is very obvious. So yeah, just that. And let's move along. And Netflix is next. Now Netflix has taken out its old previous high. I won't go there, but it's one of the more bullish markets, and we've been working through wave 3 to 4 here, and then working to the upside here. We just did a short-term trade here. Didn't quite get clicked on the 1200 at this point. But we should be okay on this if we look at this as 1, 2 here and 3. So we should expect wave 4 to come into play, and then wave 5. Now we'll have another correction after that. Now I can easily push this trend higher as well, but I just want to move past this first 5 waves here of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. I want to push past that, so we'll see this here. We could end up getting this correction here, this wave 4. That could pull back to this wave 4 one lesser degree, but I would be expecting other markets to make wave 4s as well, and they are not making a large wave 4 like this. I could make this smaller as well, but we should sort of, once there's 5 waves here, it's either going to be wave 1 and back for wave 2, or wave 3 and 4, which is more likely. And the other thing is that all of these tops here, it's very common for a market to push through the tops and then come back and check those tops. So that's what that will be, and it will probably be a wave 4. I could make it a minor wave 4 for one smaller degree, which is probably correct, and I'll do that in due course. But this is what we should sort of expect at this point, so that's why we're just going for the short term here. I don't want to get caught up. This is probably a minor wave 4, that this wave 4 here will eventually go over to here, but still don't think we need to hold through that. It's just to sort of take the money and run at that point. Okay, I'm going to do the Google chart here, same as Apple, so slightly different, but same. So in this case, we've got quite a nice 1 ABC for 2, 3, 4, 5 here for 1 and 2, and 1 ABC for 2 here. And yeah, so I've rearranged this a little bit here as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here, because I know the aftermarket is going to pull back. I might rearrange it again, but expected to come back into the 160 area, 162, 160 to 163 area. That's where the support is. Once again, it's just pushing through the old highs. So it's going to come back and check on it, and then we can push up again. So our long position here will stay there. But as I mentioned when we took this trade here, I had these as 3s and 4s here. I mentioned that you can take the trade, but it'll turn green and then turn red and then turn green again on the balance sheet. So that's that. But I still wanted to get in because it was a good it's in a good sort of situation here, this building process. And I probably mentioned to no need to do a full trade at this particular point, and we'll see. I mean, a lot of these trades, I'd like to see if we could survive this wave 2 here and take part profit up at these wave 1s here. Just not quite sure yet how deep these will come. I'll have a look at the leading markets and have a look at where their supports are in the previous trends, and also with the weakest, and then we'll get some sort of idea with all of that. So Microsoft, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here for wave 1. I could rearrange all of this here, but it's it all looks pretty nice. This is how I've counted the S&P, by the way, and those other markets with wave 1 to this point. Now I can go 1, 2 here and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and have this third, fourth here. I could a little bit later maybe drag this wave 3 over to this point over here to drag it up a little bit higher. So that's doable as well to expand the trend to the upside. But in the meantime, with this market, you can I think the aftermarket as well has already sort of dropped here, so we'll be looking for some sort of wave 4 here. Like I said, I just don't know if it's this particular wave 4 here, or I could look for something smaller. When I see it completed and the size of it, then I can compare it to the rest and make any adjustments. But this is a bit of a classic trading levels pattern happening across the 450 here, 5 being the second strongest number, so we'd expect something like this. And yeah, I mean, once that's come down to here, you could, in theory, buy the top of that structure there. That would be the normal process that we would use here. So the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, which we've got, the A, the B, and the C. So we're just here. But we know the aftermarket has dropped down here, so we should just drop on the open and finish this leg here. So we may be able to get a better position over here. You could also, in this case, because we know the trend is going high, you could also buy the dip here. But I always prefer to buy something that's got 5 waves here, because then I can really calculate whether, you know, we can manage the risk a bit more professionally at that point. You don't get the best price, but you know where that low is at that point, and you can put the stop there. And if you've got 5 waves here, then that's another box tick. So you're ticking more boxes, you know exactly what price point to work with, and then you can move it over here to reduce the risk once this is triggered in here as well. So a much neater professional way to move through, but you should be pretty safe buying the dip. But they can slip away on you at times, because it might just drop down here and you think that's the low, and then suddenly it's dropped lower here, so you get caught in things, you know. Yeah, but that's basically it at this point for this market. And we've got Tesla here. So with Tesla here, we've same as the other markets. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. And in between 2 and 3 here, we're looking for 5 waves. So we're looking for 1 and 2 and 3. And I don't know if that dropped after market. I can't remember. Probably. But anyway, the 3 is not important in this case, but the 50 is, so it's the midpoint. So you know, we can expect some sort of correction across here, and we've got the arrival at this point. So we're not done here, but we'll end up at 400. So if you're long, that's good. But yeah, pretty clean sort of wave count, and you can see that we're looking for wave 4 and then wave 5. So wave 5 should take us up to 400 here, and this could probably take us even higher at that point. I mean, Elon's getting a lot of side benefits for Trump being into play there, especially with this Starlink. If you see Peter Schiff talk in Congress the other day, that was quite interesting. Yes, it is. I mean, I'm from Australia, so I don't have to go through it all so much, but it's the good, the bad, and the ugly, isn't it? Politics. Certainly entertaining, so certainly not bored. Okay, so that's that. And then Bitcoin. So I put a chart out on the weekend in the crypto area there. I'm just going to clean this up here. So I put this triangle pattern out here, and it dipped down a little bit here, but it has sort of moved along a little bit. It has taken out this here, has clipped out the high over here. So it's actually possible to put that in here. That's doable. The other thing that, so that would be the conservative view of the structure, right? The other thing with this particular structure is that I don't need to put this ABC A, B, C, D, E here. I mean, it works, it's okay, but I could also look at this move up here as wave 1. So I could look at this, I could look at this as wave 1 to here and wave 2 to here, and then this would come up here higher like this. That's mine. So I could put that in terms of, I'd probably lift this all up 1 degree again as well, push this over to here and that sort of thing, and push this wave 5 over to here. So yeah, where's that previous wave 4? That's still down here. Might need to bring that one up over here. So yeah, so basically you could put that as a top in play here, or you can go 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, and then pushing up the 3, 4, 5. So we'll just see how that goes, right? But as I've always said with this particular market, it's pretty much in line with, I've got the count in line with all the other tech stocks, put it that way. I mean, it's got its own identity within the tech stock basket. And you know, one day once it's got saturation or getting to saturation, it will be viewed differently, but we're not there yet. But it's you know, it's integrating into society more and more and more, so we'll see if it can find its own feet. But like all markets, they you know, it's like they're all kind of connected in a way because money flows. So you know, you can look at, you know, from the bond market, you can work out the yields, and then you can work out the dollar, and then you can work out the pairs, and you can work out the gold, and you can see the money sort of ebbing and flowing in around the planet as such. And you know, in most things, and pretty easy to sort of follow. I mean, they can get out of sync and do different things, like the yields and the dollar are doing at the moment. But yeah, so we'll just see. I mean, obviously there's really good support here, and if it does come down here, I wouldn't panic either, because it will just be, you know, at worst it'll be some sort of ABC for another wave 4, and then go up. You know, that will be it. Or you know, if it's going to move up from here, then there'll be 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, and then build up to here. So it'll only be an extra little swing that you got to handle. You know, we've been looking at CoinSpot, not CoinSpot, was it Coinbase? I forget it. I don't use it. So, but yeah. So the count's pretty good. I could arrange it that this wave through. I've got this. Well, let's just start from the beginning. I've got this as 1 and 2 here, going up for 3, 4 and 5 up here. This probably won't pull back that far now. We could probably bring that up here much higher, and we'll see that little 5 waves here. We'll see how that sort of plays out. So I've got this as wave 3 and 4 here, but I still think that's a little bit early as well. So I think that in one way or another, I've got to bring this wave 3 up to here and look at this a little bit differently. That means I'll need to look at this as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for wave 1 up here. So all of this here will become, become wave 1 here, and 2 here, and 3 here, and 4 here, and 5 here, then 4, and then 5 up here. But anyway, I'll figure it out, and this top here will be the same as the stock market, you know. So we can look at that. I thought we were going to have a look at MicroStrategy this week, so we'll take a look at the, not right now, but we'll look at the much longer term for MicroStrategy, and of course fit it into all of this as well. Alrighty, well, thanks for putting up with me, and enjoy the week ahead, which should see further upside in most markets. But the takeaway really is that no matter how you count things, we're going into waves 4s and 5s and 4s and 5s into most markets, and those 4s and 5s, or those 4s, can get rather complicated. So we're basically going to be edging higher and it's going to get messier and messier in these wave fours because they're going to get larger and larger. But if you're long, you can just hold long, but be patient and don't get too close to the market. Okay, cheers.